So last time we had just started with arrays and we have taken the input for array A, where we have said that we will be asking the compiler to allocate the memory which could be slightly over and above the number of elements that we want to input. It is not necessary that beforehand we should be knowing the exact number of elements, but our program will always face the limitation of the size of the array. If you declare array of 100 elements, then obviously you cannot input one extra element into it. Okay? Even if you go for 1000, that will be a limitation. Similarly, if you declare the array of say 100 elements and input in only 4 elements, then the remaining 96 positions, they will be allocated. Neither your program nor somebody else can use it. Even if you have got some other array declared, then that other array will have a separate allocation, and the remaining memory, that is extra memory locations that you have other than those which you are using in your program, those will be simply wasted. Okay? But we can't help it, because if you try to work it out other way around, that the user is going to give us how many elements user wants to input, and then we will allocate the memory, then C does not permit that. Okay, that means you accept n and then you say some statement like int a square bracket n, and before this I have got scanf statement. This is not going to work, because in C, this I am talking about C only. In C, all the declarations which are non-executable, they should appear before any executable statement. Scanf is executable, clear screen is executable. So you will have to have all the declarations first, and then only you can proceed with the program. So by any means you cannot have this particular position as variable. It cannot be a variable. It has to be a constant, that too integer constant. This should be a constant. Okay. Now let us go for one more program. Write down. Write a program to read two arrays, A and B, having n1 and n2 elements respectively, n1 and n2 elements respectively, and number 1, find the intersection of the two arrays in array C into bracket, assuming A and B to be sets, assuming A and B to be the sets. Second, create array D, which will contain the union of A and B. Third, array E, which is equal to A minus B. Okay. So this is the job. I am going to declare say 2 arrays of size 10 only. What should be size of array C? For intersection it should be 10. For union, maximum it can go up to 20 when the sets are disjoint. And for E, again 10 when they are disjoint. N1 is size of A, N2 is size of B, N3 is number of elements in C, N4 is number of elements in D, N5 number of elements in E. And I might require some indexes, that is the position of the array is called as the index of that array. So I can use something like I, J, K, I suppose should be sufficient. When we start with the program, we will say that printf how many elements in A? Maximum 10. And scanf %d and N1. And to work it out on the safer way, we'll say we'll keep on repeating the answer, the question, as long as N1 is greater than 10. Then we can say I equal to 0 while I is less than N1. It will be scanf %d ampersand A of I equal to I plus 1. So till this time array A has been read fully. Then for array B the same job. How many in B? Max 10. Scanf %d and N2. It is while N2 is greater than 10. And again I equal to 0 while I is less than N1. Scanf %d ampersand B of I equal to I plus 1. I am repeating the index I because it has got no association with the array name. Same index can be used for different arrays. Okay, but when you are accessing both the arrays simultaneously, then they cannot have the same index. Okay. Now, to find the intersection, first was what? Intersection, na?
Yes.
So for intersection, pick one element from A. Check whether it is in B. If yes, copy it to C. You will have to pick up each element from A, check through all the elements of B. If it is found in B, then copy it to C. If it is not there, leave it, pick up the next element. In C, I will start copying from position 1, position 0, that is first position k equal to 0. First of all, I am saying for every element in array A. So I equal to 0, I less than n1, my scope will go up to I equal to I plus 1. This is the way I will access each element. So whenever now I refer to A of I, obviously next time it will be the next element, because I gets incremented. Initially it is the first element, that is I equal to 0, then second element. Now to search in second array, I will have to start comparing it from the first position, that is j equal to 0, and I will say while j is less than n2, I will have to compare what the current element of A, that is if A of I, that is the first element, I am saying one element from A, that is A of I, if it is equal to B of Z, then what should I do? I should copy it to C. To copy it to C, I will have to say C of K should pick up the value of B of Z, or it can be A of I, whatever, because they are equal. And I have consumed one position from C, so I should now pick up the next position in C. So first element of A compared with first element of B, if it matches, it is copied. If not, I will have to go to the next element in array B. Got it? One element of A compared with all the elements, whenever it matches, it is copied. If it doesn't match, copying will not take place. This will never be true. We will just check all the elements and come out, and then we will pick up the next element of array A. Now whatever is the final value of K, that will be the next empty location in K. Suppose only 4 elements are matched, then 4 elements will be copied. They will consume the position 0, 1, 2, 3. After copying the element at position 3, K will become 4, and that 4 indicates that number of elements in C are 4. That means immediately after this, I should say N3 is equal to K. Got it? Got it or not? It is the same statement that I am executing. One element of A compared with first element, if it does not match second element, whenever it matches, copy it. I will complete the scanning. Okay. Then I will come out, pick up the second element of A. So there are 2 loops which are executed. This is one, this is second. One by one, the elements will get copied, provided that it matches. If it does not match, it will be skipped. Now in case of intersection, for example, if you want to see the case, say array A having n1 is equal to 5, the elements are 4, 13, minus 10, 6, 2. Array B n2 is equal to 7, 2 minus 7, 100, 64, 13, 12, 4. Position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Array C could be anything. When we start with the execution, initially value of I, j, condition value of k. I is 0 as I start executing, j is 0, condition a of 0 equal to b of j, 4 equal to 2, false. This block will be skipped, j will, condition is false, k remains 0, j gets incremented, becomes 1. We are still in the same loop, j is less than n2, a of 0 compared with b of 1, 4 equal to minus 7, false, k remains 0, j becomes 2, 4 equal to 100, false, becomes 3, condition is still false, 4 a0 equal to b4, false, becomes 5, a0 equal to b5, false, becomes 6, a0 equal to b6, yes, true. In that case, c of 0, k is 0, c of 0 will pick up the value of b of j, that is 4, k becomes 1, becomes 1. And even the condition inner loop gets over because b becomes, j becomes 7. We go back, we increment I, it becomes 1, b is set to 0, a1 equal to b0 नहीं हो पाता, a1 equal to b2, b1, a1 equal to b2, b3, b4 matches, it will be copied, 13, k becomes 2, minus 10, a2 equal to b0, false, a2 equal to b1, false, a2 equal to b2, false, 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 inner loop gets completed, k remains in its position 2. Then we get 6, again we scan everything, no change in k. Then we get 2, matches for the first time, 2 gets copied. Okay, we go through the inner loop fully, we come out, I becomes 5, first condition is false, first loop will be terminated, we say n3 is equal to, after copying it, it has become 3, so n3 will be equal to 3, that is the intersection job. Okay, make a note. So we have got so many loops. One is this do while loop, another is while loop, we have do while, we have while, and here is a nested loop. For reducing the number of lines of code, probably we can replace while loop by for. For loop has got in all 3 parts into it. It will be for some statement. This is going to be condition again some statement, and there will be the body. The control comes, hits this will be executed. It comes and checks the condition. If condition is true, it will execute the block. After the block, it will come to this statement, that will be executed, and then it will come back to check the condition. So, first statement in for will be executed only once. Condition will be checked before entering the block. After the block, you have the third statement. Okay. So, if you just compare, then in our while loop also we had the same thing: initialization, condition, block, and then the increment. So, I can replace it if you have written this down. So, I can replace this whole thing just by saying for I equal to 0, I less than n1, I equal to I plus 1. No semicolon after that. Same job can be done over here. Initialization, condition, block, increment is the sequence. And when the block contains a single statement, we do not require the curly brackets. So, this can be written as for I equal to 0, I less than n2, I equal to I plus 1. Of course, that do while loop cannot be replaced, because without having the value of n1, you cannot go for comparison. So, that loop will always stay as do while loop. Bottom checking loops are difficult to replace by while or for, which are top checking, but while loops can be. And lot of lines will be saved through that. For example, this while loop also can be replaced. Remove the increment, initialization and condition. It will be for I equal to 0, I less than n1, I equal to I plus 1. And I cannot remove these curly brackets because there is one statement j equal to 0 and one block which is one full statement. While is one statement. So, there are two statements both inside the for. So, I cannot eliminate these curly brackets. If you eliminate curly brackets, it will execute only j equal to 0 n1 times. That is of no use. But afterwards, when I go for replacing this while also by for j equal to 0, j less than n2, j equal to j plus 1. I will obviously get rid of this. Now, what happens is in outer for loop, there is a single for statement. It is a single statement. So, I do not require these curly brackets, because in this for loop I have got only one statement, another for loop. This entire for loop will work as a single statement. But again, this if statement is a single statement. So this for loop also contains a single statement. I can even remove these curly brackets. But then I cannot eliminate these because there are two statements. Okay, so the code gets shortened. Now to get the union, I am going to say that copy all elements of A in C, D this time. Copy all elements of A into D. From B, check whether the element is already in D. From B, check whether the element is already in D, then do not copy. Otherwise, copy it. Now, in this case, I will write a loop saying that k is equal to 0 for I equal to 0, I less than n1, I equal to I plus 1. I will say C of k or D of k is equal to A of I, k equal to k plus 1. So this is the first task. I am copying all the elements to D. Now I will have to check every element which is already in D, or instead of D, I can very well check whether it is in A. That is the intersection. If the element is common to A also, then we will not be copying it. So we will have to run a loop similar to this. Pick up every element of B, check whether it is in A. Here it was other way around. Pick up every element of A, check whether it is in B. Now you will have to interchange these two loops. You will have to say for j equal to 0, j less than n2, j equal to j plus 1. So I am picking up Bj, one element from the second array, and then checking, going through all the elements of first array for I equal to 0, I less than n1, I equal to I plus 1. And then, as I have told you earlier, we can set a flag whether it is common or not. So I will initially set the flag which we will have to declare as 0. Not here, one second. Whenever I pick up the element, I start with the assumption that it is not common. 0 is false. So this false tells me that, this flag tells me that the element is not common to A. And then I check through all the elements for I equal to 0, I less than n1, I equal to I plus 1. And if that element matches, that is if A of I, if it is equal to B of Z, then I will simply set flag to 1. So after I perform the entire checking over here, if the flag has become 1, then that Bj element is common to A. I should not copy it. But if the flag remains 0, then we will have to copy it. So I will have to check here if flag is still 0, that means it is not common, then copy it to C. C नहीं, क्या था वो, D. Then D of K is equal to B of Z and K equal to K plus 1. This should be N1. This is independent of the intersection that you have found. If you want to improve on this algorithm, I could have checked whether the element is present in C. Because if it is present in the intersection, we should not copy it, instead of comparing with all the elements of A. Even that will work. But for that, you will have to have the intersection with you. The code that I am writing is irrespective of whether you have got intersection or not. You can still get the union. Now, yesterday I was talking about the best code to be written. This thing can also be written as for I equal to 0, comma k equal to 0, semicolon, क्योंकि दोनों एक ही बार एग्जीक्यूट करने. I can straight away say I less than n1. If the condition is true, then copy the element d of k is equal to a of I. Increment k, k equal to k plus 1. Increment I equal to I plus 1, bracket complete, semicolon. A single statement will work in the same manner. There is no body for this for loop. It will initialize, it will check the condition, true. It goes, copies, increments k, increments I, and come back to check the condition. That is what that statement is doing. But these are commas, not semicolon. Semicolons are only two, after initialization and after condition. All the rest of the statement should be separated by comma. A for loop without the body. Last time we had seen the two conditions getting combined using AND or, and we have said that if the conditions are ANDed and if you are outside the loop, then one of the two conditions must be false. Barabar hai? We had written two conditions at that time. Now here also I can go for the similar thing, because I have got condition inside a condition. This particular block can be written as for I equal to 0, I less than n1, and a of I is not equal to b of z, I equal to I plus 1. A for loop without a block. This will have a semicolon. So, which semicolon you are talking about? It doesn't have the body, that's why the semicolon is there. When there is a block after the for loop, there won't be a semicolon. This for loop, that is what I am saying, it has got no body, no block. In that case, it has to be, this is going to be too heavy for you, but I am just showing you it can be done. Now, when can you be out of this for loop? It is executing like initialized, conditions are checked. When both the conditions are true, it will go for incrementing I and will come back to check the conditions, both. It will be out under the two cases, either I is becoming N1 or A of I becoming equal to B of Z. One of the two. Now outside, if I check if I is equal to N1, what does it mean? If I is equal to N1, what does it mean? I equal to N. See, you are starting with one element of B and checking all the elements of A. If you find a matching element, will you reach N1? No, because then the loop will get terminated, the condition becomes false, and then I will be still less than N1 because the matching has taken place somewhere earlier. But if this condition is always true, then this becomes false and we come out. Now when this condition is false, that means this condition was always true. Always true का मतलब ये है कि that element of B is not present in A. In that case, copy it. D of K is equal to B of Z. So instead of writing all those lines, I could have just worked out with two lines, two statements. It is complicated, but of course